I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Now we'll have roll call.
This is a test.
John Winchester. Sean Samsel. Kelly Lee.
And so was Sean.
Sean's
on too.
Sean's also online.
Sean's online.
Online.
Charlene Robinson.
I'm here.
Lucretia Free. Tom Beresny.
Present.
Frank Santa Cruz.
Here.
Ed Berger.
Present.
John Bernal. I see he's online. Frank Fry. Bill Schlesinger. Bill Schlesinger. We do have a quorum.
Okay.
Gilbert, can we do a check, since I know none of the online people were able to respond, that our audio's going out? Sorry, Charlene.
No, that's fine.
Who's
Melissa
on?
just chimed in and did a quick test, because I wanted to make sure there's a slight little hiccup we had this morning with the power cord.
Hey, Gilbert,
Yes.
can you pull down that participants and see who we got online?
Yes.
Frank Fry is now online.
He's online.
Yes. And if you can't pull it up, Gilbert, I can read them out loud.
Or since District 2 doesn't have an appointee, it's
Right now,
knock down the number of people that we need. Okay. John's online.
I have it up here.
Frank's online, okay. Okay, okay. Sean's online, okay. Yeah, we give us a,
Can those online respond so we know that you can hear us?
yes,
Brian, are you able to respond?
Can you see if we're muted? Up on the top, it still looked like we were muted on your screen.
yeah.
We're muted on this one because we're controlling it on the other laptop.
Okay.
Are you controlling their microphones from here, Gilbert, or are they controlling their own?
They can control their own, because they're listed as panelists.
Okay.
Melissa, can you do a quick test for us?
Are those online able to hear us?
Melissa, can you unmute yourself again? And can you say something?
they can hear us.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Stinking AI.
We just can't. I can hear you, Gilbert.
Okay.
Oh.
I think they use that new contractor that you use to repave the road. CI ratings, and that's why things are messed up.
Are we good, Gilbert?
We should be good.
Okay, thank you. We'll go on to approval of meeting summary for the last meeting.
Sid Verberg, I'll make a motion. We approve the minutes as drafted. They're very well done again.
I'll second.
Is there any other?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Moving on to Jason, road repair update.
Gilbert, you'll have to advance the, okay.
You might have to turn your microphone off, Gilbert. I don't know what Alexa's doing there. I told you it was AI. Tron.
Yep. All right, so thank you, members of the committee. We are proud to present this month's update. Getting started with our substantially complete projects for the fiscal year so far. You can see a couple changes here at the bottom, a couple additions. So our Southwest Mill and Pave project is substantially complete as of the 12th of this month, so that has joined the list. That project still has punch list items outstanding as well as final striping, so there's still some activity on site, but from a contract item perspective, it is substantially complete at this point. Into the ongoing projects. So we have Big Heart still going on the cusp currently, on paved project. Bid project of the year has been steadily working since we spoke last time with paving. They are currently paving out the last road on the project today, up on Como Drive, up there north of Moore Road. They have all the utility adjustments still now ongoing at all locations, so there's still some work ongoing in each of the locations. They are expecting to have completion in April, early May timeframe, so that project is moving along quite nicely, moving toward completion there. The Sierrita Mountain Road, I always have trouble saying that, good grief. That project is also now in the paving stage, so they just started paving yesterday. They are paving on Hilltop today with the milling and paving work on Sierrita Mountain Road itself getting really into the active stage here at the end of this week into next week. So that project will quickly start moving along there as well. The Pitcher Rocks and Northwest Area Surface Treatment project is also nearing completion. We only have final striping remaining on that project. All the roads have received their surface treatment on that project, and so it should be moving over that substantially complete list here very shortly. Central Southwest, all of the fog seal roads are done. They're doing the micro seal roads this week. And so then early next week, that project will also move over to that substantially complete list as well. The Linda Vista Terrace Mill and Pave project, this actually just became substantially complete on the 22nd. So this one.
I'm going to interrupt.
Yep.
I keep seeing the chats come up that they can't hear.
They're missing riveting entertainment.
What is that? I can't read that.
I was able to hear the test, but now audio isn't coming through, or it's coming through echo.
Well, the WebEx is on that one, it's not gonna, there's no WebEx on that. Yeah, one WebEx. Oh, you have WebEx on both? Yeah. One's main, one's presenting it here. This. So we're going to this. Okay. And then this one. Yeah. I apologize for this, we have a slight technical difficulties here. And those right now in the audience who are via WebEx, can you hear me now? Can you hear us now?
Very auspicious start.
No.
I don't know what it's different than PowerPoint.
So, how many potholes have we filled so far this fiscal year?
Well, this fiscal year, the numbers that I had were from
I
like
saw something in
May,
a newspaper
and it
article or
was
something.
like over 20,000.
10,000 there. Hey, on Wilmot, south of Valencia to I-10, is that county or city? Parts of it are county, parts of it are city?
For which project?
It's Wilmot
On
between
Wilmot,
Valencia
from-
and I-10.
No, yeah, from Valencia
I
down
think
to I-10.
that's city.
That's city.
That's all city
Yeah, no
now.
wonder it's always in such bad shape.
Yeah.
Exactly. That should have been your first sign, yeah.
I mean, they fill in a pothole, and new ones sprout the next day, because we use that to traverse Davis Mont then when we come into Tucson. So we go down 1 mile. And my wife asked, why are some parts of this road so nice and the other ones are so crappy? I said, well, you got Pima County, you got Tucson, you know. Their borders kind of disaster.
Standby music.
I don't know why. I mean, we haven't had technical difficulties.
See, you thought you were gonna get out of here early, didn't you?
It's not the exact same thing.
Just holding up the podium.
Still no.
Anyone really good at typing? Transcribe what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Just- I'll talk slow.
I do that every month, Jason.
So you're saying you're trained, you're ready?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, what about now? Can you hear us now?
We got ourselves 2-3 years worth.
Come down to Green, over in an, when they come down to Green Valley, over in an HOA, where the people have been coming the last couple of months. We're gonna,
Because you mentioned White Canyon Road, so is that in that area?
it's, no, the place is on White House Canyon.
Oh,
Is
White House.
on the east side of I-19, off of Continental.
Okay.
This HOA is north, it's between Continental.
Apologize for the technical.
Esperanza on the west side of I-19,
Oh, okay.
and west of La Cañada.
It's a road runner outside.
That's a good sign. That's a good sign. I don't know. We're horrible.
Well, nothing keeps up on.
Melissa says she hears something. Jason, can you talk on the microphone for a minute?
Hello? Are you able to hear me? Hopefully it's a yes.
Nothing now.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a no.
Can you see us? How about that?
Yes.
Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3.
They can hear you. It's very echoey.
It'd be hard to have a discussion though.
Okay, how about now? How about now?
love these,
Still an echo.
I love these old people.
And we
that
can't
get on
hear
this
them.
and this.
Yeah,
And
we
they try
can't,
to
we can't hear them, so.
So here's this woman. It's Saturday. They had a thing out at the historic ranch, first responders there. So there was a whole line of cars coming north on the east side of the road up towards Fountain. So this lady posts a picture of her dashboard online. And said, yeah, there's people up here only doing, I'm going this fast, there's a long line behind us, why are these people on their own, blah, blah, blah. Normally, the wise man would answer back and say, well, lady, there's no minimum speed limit, but you are using your mobile phone illegally. It's against the law to be doing that.
But you didn't?
I don't reply to next door. I just read it for comic relief.
There's a lot of interesting things. There's a lot of interesting things.
If I see something that Supervisor Christie needs to be aware of, or something that, well, most of the time it's people, how we do this in the county, how we call it so and so. Needless to go, that's right. But they don't, so I know.
Melissa tried to speak and it didn't come through.
Well, Madam Chair.
Telephone, and it's like,
Do we
call it on
invoke
a phone and just.
the professor ain't here after 15 minutes, since the
Throw it on
class
the podium.
dismissed rule?
So
I think we'll give them 20 minutes.
let's use a phone. Just mute all that and we'll use somebody's phone.
We're really bad.
If they turn the volume off up there, I can turn mine on back here to see if that works. Because I am on WebEx.
Did you hear that, Gilbert? Use that audio from her computer.
Bring a microphone back to her computer.
It's been 20 minutes since the professor ain't here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, back when I was in school, that means you get to go home.
I'm all this way, I'm not giving up.
So, Ed and Frank, did you guys have a good lunch today?
It was great.
Pretty good lunch, huh?
And the Chinese, cookies was really great.
Chinese smorgasbord?
Yeah, even a little,
Rather tasty.
What did everyone get for their fortune cookie?
The fortune's allowed.
Can everybody hear?
Something needs to be muted.
There's, hopefully they can, how well can they hear me?
But can they talk to us too?
That too.
While we're passing time, I'm sorry. My dog is out Wildcats.
Can anybody on the call hear us?
Yes, they can hear us.
I have the couch covered because they're there.
And then,
Let me show you a good.
can they answer so that we can see if we can hear them?
Entertain ourselves.
This is a good one. Here, look back at my, I think I had a number of photos.
Melissa, can you click for me to speak?
No, it's a text from my brother.
Okay. They'll just have to yell at us if they need anything. So, our apologies, everyone. We'll just start over at the top real fast and go quickly through the updates there so that everyone is back in the loop. Thank you all for staying with us. So just getting, the quick recap here on the substantially complete project. So we did add one project to this list since the last time we met. That is the Southwest Mill and Pave project. And which is substantially complete, but still has some final cleanup and punch list items like couple 3 out, and then that will be completely wrapped up. So then moving into our ongoing projects, our big hard bid for the year, the Casa de Obras Catalina project, is going to be completely done with paving here very shortly. They're on their final road today on Como Drive north of Moore Road. They are working on all their utility adjustments at all their locations still, and so they expect to be still working on this project for another month or so with those utility adjustments ongoing. The Sierra Mountain Road project is also in paving now. They started paving yesterday. They are on Hilltop, and that will go through the rest of this week, and then they'll move into paving on Sierra Mountain itself here beginning of next week, for the next several weeks after that. The Pitcher Rocks surface treatment project is complete column pretty much. They have final at this point. It'll moved over that substantially complete column here shortly. They have final striping still remaining on that, and that should happen next week, weather permitting. The Central Southwest surface treatment project, all the fog seals are complete on that project, and we just have the roads that are receiving the micro seals still remaining. That should happen this week. And then final striping, so we'll be following to substantially several weeks or so. So that will get moved over to substantially complete here very shortly as well. The Linda Vista paving project is complete as of the 22nd, so that will get moved over to our substantially complete list as well. And then the last ongoing project, the Heritage Hills Mill and Pave project, they finished paving last week, and they're currently doing all their utility adjustments in both locations on that project as well. So quite a lot of progress going on, quite a lot of paving's been done this month. Now we're moving into kind of the finishing touches on projects. And so we've got 2 other projects to talk about that still haven't quite yet started. So the first is our Tanca Verde surface treatment project. So this was awarded the early part of planning to start going into and so this will be moving fairly quickly, and we get to our next couple meetings as well. And then right after this project, Southern Arizona Paving will do our Foothills project. So next slide, Gilbert. And so that's our last project of the year to get going. This project was awarded to Southern Arizona Paving, as I mentioned, and this will be going on in the May and June timeframe, and does include roads such as Thornydale, as well as parts of Swan and Orange Grove, amongst a couple other subdivisions as well, getting surface treatments. So that is kind of where we're at. So if we go to the program completion status by the numbers, you can see the pie chart there, a lot more in that complete column, that light blue. A lot of that orange in construction is going to start moving to that complete column very quickly as we get started in wrapping down this fiscal year. And then those column, it's kind of a pinkish gray on the screen here, but that gray column of awarded should get moved into the in construction here very shortly in the next couple weeks to a month or so. And with that, we have the road repair preservation project map. I keep mentioning that we're getting ready to revamp this map. It has, since the last time we talked, some features on it are now to where we wanted them to be revamped, but it is not up to date yet. So we're hoping in the next several weeks that it'll be completely up to date and and ready for everyone. But the link is still active. You still can view all the roads selected for this year. The status just might not reflect where they are currently at quite yet. But again, within the next couple of weeks, we hope to get this back up and running for everyone. This is also where you can view the roads when they're selected for next fiscal year's program, which we do anticipate that list coming out in the May timeframe as well. So teasing that a little bit as well. So you'll find that on our website and on this map as well. And with that, I will open to any questions.
Okay, no questions?
All right.
Thank you, Jason. Moving on to RTA next, update.
Good afternoon, everyone. Catherine Skinner, the Director of Transportation, and again, of great tech. Sincere apologies for what was about 3 years of great technology problems. They all came together today with the biggest problem because we have been doing great at these meetings. So RTA Next, what has happened since our last meeting here, which was February 27th? What has happened is there has been one meeting of the RTA Technical Management Committee. Again, as a reminder, that is the committee that is made up of town and city managers, our county administrator. The county actually has 2 members, so Deputy County Administrator DeBonis is also on that committee. The city has 3 representatives, Transportation and Mobility Director Sam Credio on that committee, and some members of the public that are experienced engineers and in the industry. So they met on March 13th. This meeting was scheduled to focus on a few items that have been points of discussion on the RTA Next, those being contingency value, how much should be reserved for an economic contingency, debt service reserves, so do we need to set aside RTA Next funding for potential bond issuance to accelerate projects, and if we do so, what is the value of funds being brought into the RTA, and then also a discussion of regional funds being brought into the RTA Next in order to deliver the whole list of projects that they've identified. Regarding the economic contingency, there was general agreement that $100 million economic contingency should be used. That's above and beyond the overlap contingency. So the overlap contingency has to do with when the election is and when there's a gap in the amount of time when the old RTA would have gone through and when the new one starts. So there's about 4 months of lost revenue. That's the overlap contingency. We've already discussed that and everybody's agreed that money will be set aside. This is the economic contingency that has to do with should there be an economic downturn? Should something drastic happen with inflation that would cause costs to really grow? So again, $100 million was agreed, a good starting point. It's not set in stone at this point, but that's what they're going to work with for now. There was also, in regards to debt service, there was the discussion of setting it as $50 million for now, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and it'll be discussed at an upcoming meeting because the amount of debt service requires analysis of project scheduling. So it really depends on how quickly we want to front load projects in the RTA Next program to determine how much debt may need to be issued. So some of that evaluation is going to be completed by RTA staff and presented at the next Technical Management Committee meeting. Lastly, the topic of regional funds was discussed. So the concept is $75 million of either the RTA Next so that they could deliver the active transport to the RTA Next so that they could deliver the entire active transportation and safety element that had been identified. That amount represents about 11% of the funds be collected in the region on the last 15 years of the program. At this time, they didn't really make any decision on that, and that is because what we discussed last time at our February 27th meeting here was that the city had released a memo talking about how much do we think will actually be collected in taxes over this 20-year RTA Next program. The RTA Next has been designed as a $2.34 billion program, and some of the estimates that the city had received made it look as if there may be an additional $600 million potentially to work with. So some of these hard decisions regarding do we bring regional funds in, how much can we afford for contingency, is really dependent on what the updated Eller college estimates look like, which the RTA has gone and contracted with Eller to get updated numbers. Just yesterday, that Eller estimate was transmitted to the Technical Management Committee, who has a meeting scheduled for April 1st, so next Monday at 9 a.m. I have not fully reviewed that document yet, but in the cover letter, it did mention that instead of this additional $600 million that was anticipated, it could be as high as it is only $125 million of additional revenues expected using the pessimistic 20-year outlook. So that basically means there's a lot of difficult discussions still to be had in the next few months. As I mentioned, TMC meets next Monday, and then the RTA board will meet next Thursday. I believe their meeting is still scheduled. The agenda has not come out, so that sometimes there's some shifting in the time for those meetings. And that is when they will discuss, the TMC will be reviewing and discussing this updated revenue estimate. They will also look at the debt service, contingency, and regional funds again, as well as just discussing what are some of the plan options. The last item that I failed to mention was also discussed at Technical Management Committee was an alternate plan. This scenario was presented by the town of Sahuarita. I won't focus on that too much, as much of it was focused on this $600 million additional revenue, and if we had that, then we could fully fund a contingency, we could fully fund a debt service, we could free up regional funds, and being that the new revenue estimate does not substantiate that, that scenario is still out there. I'm sure it'll be discussed and on the table, that balance challenge. So at the revenue side to make that balance. So at this time, I will take any questions if you have any.
Hearing none.
Thank you, everyone.
Hearing none.
Thank you, everyone.
Director Skinner. Moving on to item 6, letter to the Board of Supervisors, and I will turn that over to Ed Verberg.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For those of you who were at the last meeting, or those who weren't, just a slight refresher, we had a draft letter, and there were 2 amendments that were approved to add to the letter to be drafted after the meeting, and the letter was redrafted and it was put out to the committee. The first revision was to properly recognize the authority associated with sales tax, and that was added in on page 2. Then on page 3, we're saying, well, if, sales tax doesn't work, maybe there's something else, which would include dipping into another revenue source, which would be to substitute general fund money for a portion of the Department of Transportation staff. And we had talked, I think it was John Burnell who said maybe a third, so that's about $5 million. So the letter was revised accordingly on the third page, saying to the board, well, if you can't do sales tax and impact fees aren't going to get us there, maybe you can consider using the general fund to pay for some of the staff and free up funding so it can be used for road repair, maintenance, and so forth. So that's the recommendation. Those are the 2 revisions. And with that, I guess we should open it up to discussion or questions.
I like the revisions, but I read something in here. How is our revenue looking for the next few years as far as the Department of Transportation? You see an increase of revenue coming in from HERF, VLT? Are we losing money? Or we're getting less money? How's that working right now?
Actually, I think the first page of the letter indicates that we'll be declining, and it has been declining.
And I
But
read
for
that,
future,
so
I'll let, of course, Catherine talk to that.
Yeah, what we see with HERF revenue, we usually project a 3% increase, just long-term 3% growth in HERF revenues. This current fiscal year, we had based our budget on that, and then it's usually in the late fall, October, November timeframe that ADOT will release a 10-year revenue estimate. When they did that this last year, it reduced what they thought would be collected for this current fiscal year by $2.5 million, which was about a 3% reduction. So we were looking at flat between fiscal year 23 and fiscal year 24. As we look forward, we still anticipate a 3% increase. That is LT with what ADOT also looks at, and of course the bond, but it's of any kind of money. It goes down if it's not increasing at the same pace as inflation and the cost of goods and materials, which 3% is not the same pace as inflation.
Goods, materials, pay raises for everybody, all that kind of stuff, huh?
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
Hearing no other questions, I'll make a motion that we approve the letter as revised.
Second. I'll second.
Okay, is there any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it passes.
Can I just ask that those online put their vote in the chat so we have record of what it is, because we're having difficulty hearing.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Verberg. We'll move on to call of audience, and just a reminder, whoever comes up and talks has 3 minutes to talk. So I didn't get any cards, so okay. Okay, we'll start with Dabney Hope.
Afternoon, committee members. My name is Daphne Hope, and I live in the northeast, just at the base of Mount Lemmon. I appeared before this committee last December to request your consideration of the repaving of a section of the Mount Lemmon Highway in the lower portion, specifically because of safety concerns for cyclists. I did receive a response from the committee, thank you very much, and that indicated to me that the rating, the PCI rating for the roadway question, in fact, it's not 71 condition from a good condition view. In fact, and longitude good conducts on this section have a disproportionate pothole impact on cyclists over motorists. The current assessment methodology simply doesn't accurately reflect the conditions for cyclists. Since that meeting, 2 things have occurred. First is the creation of the Mount Lemmon Bikeway Coalition, a group of concerned individuals, concerned cyclists, who are working to improve the roadway safety for all road users and thereby reduce the perceived conflict between cyclists and motorists. And second is that we had an under-pavement condition assessment of the highway, and in particular for the downhill section between milepost 3 and milepost 0. You may remember when I spoke in December, I recognized the fact that there had already been some repaving on a section of that downhill stretch right around the Babadoag lookout, but it's the bit just above and the bit below, so about a total of 1.4 miles that's still in what we consider very poor condition. So this independent assessment suggests a PCI of 30, or very poor, which is in quite a stark contrast to that rating that was given by the county staff. And my colleague Steve will be speaking more about that. Look, we know that you've got many demands for limited funds. We recognize that. Our request is made based on a serious concern about the roadway condition, a concern that is supported by a large number of cyclists in this region. First, so today, considering 2 requests. One is, please give serious consideration to repaving this specific downhill section of the Mount Lemmon Highway between milepost 3 and milepost 0 before a crash occurs due to the poor road condition. Second, please apply for a Strava Metro account and download the data for bicycles on the Mount Lemmon Highway. County staff currently do not have data on bicycle usage for this road, so cannot accurately assess the need for pavement repair addressing their needs. And I know this because I've been talking to several of staff over the past month, and they identify the fact that they don't seem to have this Strava Metro account. It would give at least a much better picture of what's going on out there than we have right now. So those are my requests. Thank you very much.
engineer, and for the opportunity. From Steve Forrestel, I'm a retired professional engineer and highway contractor, Caliente, New York, who have since moved to Tanque Verde, live at right by Agua Caliente Park. From 0 to 3, and uphill is equally bad, but when you're riding a bicycle uphill, it doesn't make much difference as long as there aren't big potholes and cracks. The rough pavement is more or less irrelevant. It's the downhill section. So we're only talking 1.4 lane miles of mill and fill that we're requesting. I reached out to my brother, who was a highway designer and professional engineer, and he came to Tucson and did an evaluation. I have the full report that I can give you. I've got a copy of the first 6 pages, and I can email it too. But he got from 0 to 1.1, it rates as a 35, and from 2.7 to 3, it rates as a 30. And those are both very poor in the PCI rating index. We agree probably the whole Mount Lemmon Highway is a 71. That sounds right, but certainly those sections are terrible. We understand that there's a parking lot construction going to happen up at Summerhaven, and there's some concern by staff that you don't want to do a bunch of repairs on the road and then have construction traffic impact it. But I don't think that'll be an issue on the downhill side, because that'll be empty trucks coming down, which shouldn't hurt. So that's our request, 1.4 miles of mill and fill on the downhill stretch. And that's the picture on the screen of it just above Vavadoag that shows the condition of the pavement. And that's tough on a bicycle. Thank you.
Thanks for your time. Tim Arndt, and I'm off of Cloud Road, east of. And the paving we're done with all of the neighborhood. Both sides. Have on both sides of the street. Designated pathways for pedestrians and bicycles. I've called in several times for pothole repairs. I have 2 cracked windshields to prove what's happened there. But it's unsafe. Right now you can't even... are walking their kids along the street, and cars are dodging the, cavernous cracks in the road as well as the potholes and out of there. Same things happen with bicyclists, because traveling in and out of there every day, we have to really be careful because of the amount of traffic, foot traffic and bike traffic there. And I guess I'd just like to ask that be reconsidered. Given the magnitude of traffic on that street, coupled with the kids and the bicyclists that, are in danger there, quite frankly. So thank you. It's a little over 1 mile.
Thank you to everyone who came up. We want to see the response from future discussion. Okay. Future items for discussion. All right, the next meeting is scheduled for April 23rd. If you have anything to add to the agenda, please get it to us as soon as possible. And is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved. I'll second.
We're adjourned. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.